Holy shit, a freaking rabbit. What the hell are you doing out? See if I can capture. No, he's running away. Anyway, rabbit. How's it going, gents? Here we are with the MT-10SP. I'll be telling you what I don't like about it today. I really find that can be more valuable than like watching a video about what you like about it, because it's, you know, when you're buying something, it's, you know, it's easy to know what's good about it and stuff, but it's the things that are bad about it. So yeah, I've had this bike for a couple months now. I ride it every single day with my wife. We commute on it, and yeah, it's been really good. But I'll tell you what I don't like about it. For a bike that is so great and has such awesome, my gloves are in my backpack as well. I have giant winter gloves on, and I don't really want to wear them for just riding around the park, so I'll put them on later. But for a bike that's so awesome, it does have a number of bad things about it. These are obviously my opinion, but this is what I don't like about the MT-10SP. Move up. I want to go straight. Is that going to be freaking possible? First kind of annoyance to me would be fuel economy. Now, no liter bike is super fuel economical. It's not what they're made for. If you want an economical bike, buy a scooter. Yeah, they're made for power. Yamahas have always been known to be pretty, you know, not fuel economical either, along with, like, you know, Ducatis and Aprilias and stuff. Hondas are generally known to be quite fuel economical, but this is kind of especially bad. In 150 kilometers, it's out of fuel, out of a 17-liter tank. Yeah, the little dash will tell me, I've had it running since I pretty much bought it, and it's giving me an average of 8.6 liters per 100 Ks. So yeah, quite a lot. Now, admittedly, my type of riding is in the city, really. I do a lot of commuting, so obviously being a 1000cc motorcycle, it wants to be up there in the higher gears and not be in start-stop traffic. So I have no idea where I'm going. This is the zoo. Yeah, it doesn't want to be in start-stop traffic, so I'm sure that's why it's bumping it up. I'm sure if I get it out in 6th gear on the freeway, 100 k's an hour, it's gonna use a lot less. I think I saw it and I was probably down to like 4.5, 5 liters per 100 k's when I was up at, you know, at a higher speed. But that power's so great. But yeah, that's probably the first gripe, is its fuel economy. I'm filling up petrol, you know, probably about once a week or something on it to commute. My commute's really short. It's like 10 k's to work and 10 k's back. So you know, it's still cheap because it's a motorbike, so much, you know, 20 bucks a freaking week. But yeah, just something to think about. You know? I'll probably have to stop for this next one. So the next big gripe I have with the MT-10SP is that it's got quite a short steering lock. And what I mean is, if I wanted to do a U-turn here, you know, for a bike that's got big bars, you got to remember that it's, you know, it's based off an R1, a lot of it, so it doesn't have a big steering lock. So that's my full steering lock. That's as far as it'll go. I'm at the stoppers. So, you know, I can still do a U-turn, but like instinctively when I jump on a bike that's got big bars like this, I think of a venture bike, I think of a dirt bike, because I ride dirt bikes all the time. When I jump on a bike that's got big bars like this, I just instinctively think I've got a lot of lock. Like my dirt bike would have a lot more, and adventure bikes have a heap of steering lock. So when I first got on it, I kind of instinctively thought, I'm on my dirt bike because I've got these big bars. Went to turn in, hit the stops, and it really unsettled me. And I'm like, whee, this is something you're used to and stuff, you know, not a big issue. Probably another annoyance would be the seat. Now, I have the comfort seat on it, which is kind of nice. It's got white stitching. Says MT-10 on it. About 500 bucks, 480 bucks or something. A bit annoying that it's really necessary. The stock seat is just garbage, completely useless. It's unbelievably uncomfortable. I've ridden big Ks on a stock like WR250R seat, and it was better than the stock seat on this. So the comfort seat is completely necessary. So it's a bit annoying that when you just spend 20k plus on a bike like this, you've got to pretty much pay another 450 bucks or something for the comfort seat. So a bit annoying, and to be honest, even the comfort seat is a bit too firm. It's not the greatest seat in the world. So a bit disappointing on the seat. I mean, the comfort seat is a lot better than the stock one, but you expect a comfort seat which actually raises the bike up a bit. So if you're already struggling on a standard MT-10 seat, MT-10SP seat, like struggling to put your feet down, the comfort seat will raise it up another centimeter or two. So I think like 3 centimeters. Not a big problem for me. But, probably the other bad thing will be the front brakes. We'll do another little test here. It's something that yeah, it's kind of wishy-washy. At the start, I'm like, I hate these brakes. Now I'm a little bit more used to them. I know how to work with them a bit better. They're not too bad. And it really does depend on what bike you're coming off. You're coming off a Harley, you're coming off a Royal Enfield, then these brakes are going to be spectacular. If you're coming off what I'm coming off a Daytona 675R with M50 Brembos. I still always have the back of my mind my 2015 S1000RR, which is what I think is the pinnacle of brakes. That thing, one finger from like 300 k's an hour, it's like hitting a brick wall. It's beautiful, those brakes. With one finger, I can barely get this thing stopped. But that being said, it's just the initial bite of these brakes which I don't like. They do have strong power. Like I reckon if you put them up against all the other super bikes and stuff, there probably wouldn't be a big difference. But you just need to really give it a hit like that. Then it really gets you going, really gets you stopping. Whereas if I do with one finger, which would normally be enough for my old S1000RR, one finger, I can't, like, that's one finger. And that's the difference, is the initial kind of bite and the force needed is a lot more on these brakes. Now people say a radial master cylinder, braided brake lines, and I've heard brake pads can really change that, give you a lot more bite at the start. But I'm pretty kind of used to it now. I know I just need to give it a lot more of a grab at the start, and it does get it stopped up. I guess the next little gripe would be the clutch. It's a cable clutch, and it is a little heavy. Not a huge issue. Obviously it's got a quick shifter, so you don't have to use the clutch all the time, but I commute start-stop traffic in the city, so I am on the clutch a lot. So at the start it was a bit much. I'm used to KTM had a hydraulic clutch that was beautiful. 675 had a really light clutch. So I'm coming off that, and this is a little heavier. I did put some adjustable levers on it, which helped. I just brought the throw in less. I don't have to actually come in that far, which did help a lot. But it is still a bit heavy. Another thing with this bike, a lot of people when they get the MT-10, they don't know about the cam chain tensioner. Usually freaks them out a bit. It's pretty loud. It's a loud ticking sound when you first turn on the bike, and when it's cold. Some of them are a little louder than others. This one's really loud when it's really cold, and then when it warms up it completely goes away, just about. This happens on pretty much all Yamahas. Their chain tensioners are really loud, especially with R1s, and this is a 2015 R1 motor, so that's why it's loud. So there are a lot of the big issues. We'll go rapid fire now, and we'll go through some little ones. Pillion pegs. A lot of people don't take pillions on motorcycles, and that's fine. I do obviously commute every day with my wife, so pillion pegs are pretty important. These are really high up. The factory ones are about there, so if you're on the seat, your knees are really high up, basically hitting me. Now what I've seen people do is they put the MT-09 Tracer ones on. They come a lot further down. What I did is I got some cheap eBay ones that dropped at 4 centimeters, if you can see there. Just dropped at 4 centimeters, and they're black and they look pretty cool. She said that was enough. Now it's pretty comfortable for her. Some of the switch gear is a bit different. Where your headlight flashing button is, if you want to flash someone, it's now a mode button, and the flashing button is here. So I've done it a lot of times where I'm trying to flash someone to pull ahead or something, and I've gone through my modes and shit. It's just something to get used to. All the other switch gear is really good. I like this this menu button. If you can see, it's scrolling through. This menu button, menu scroll wheel goes through your trip and info and other things. I like the scrolliness, but for a lot of things you need to actually press that button in, and that's not really a nice experience. When you generally go to click it in, it kind of sometimes goes up or down and takes you off the setting. So I think the clicking in of that is a little bit annoying. And while I'm off the bike, probably the only other thing I need to kind of show you, which is a bit annoying, is the large chamber down there, the exhaust chamber, which has got catalytic converter, and the exhaust valve, actually no, the exhaust valve is there, but that sits a little lower than the rest of the exhaust pipe. And I have hit that once on a pothole with my wife on the back, and once going up a gutter, I slammed that in there because it sits about another, I don't know if you can see, it sits about another couple of centimeters lower than the exhaust. And the other thing about the exhaust is that it's a little bit annoying that when you buy the Akrapovic muffler, just the muffler, it's still really quiet because you've got all of that heavy, large, annoying exhaust shit there. So if you just buy that muffler, it's too quiet. But then if you do a full system and delete that exhaust and all that other stuff, then it's too loud. And I know what you're thinking. You're all, you know, 12-year-old boys who think motorcycles should be the loudest thing on the planet. And but no, I commute every day, and honestly, having a droning ass freaking exhaust that just, you jump on the freeway and it's just is the most annoying thing in the entire world. I like a loud bike, but not when I have to sit on the freeway for hours or commute every day in the morning. So it's a little bit annoying. You've either got to kind of choose too quiet or too loud. And some people have made like resonators and other things, and yeah, it's just a bit annoying that you can't really just, I haven't really found the perfect exhaust yet. The other things, actually riding the bike, the engine's a little rough. It's not like your normal kind of Japanese 4-cylinder like a Honda or a Suzuki. Obviously it's the cross-plane 4-cylinder, so it's a little rougher than your normal Japanese 4-cylinder. I like it though. Just gives you a little bit more torque down low, and an awesome cross-plane sound. Again, that you can hear, bloody beautiful. The fueling also is a little, it's got a little bit of a delay in it. I know why why is this car so freaking close to me? It's doing like 50 k's an hour. The dude's sitting like a centimeter away from my rear wheel. Chill the frick out, bro. I know you got a Ford Focus ST and you think you're a freaking Ken Block, but just relax, champ. Yeah, I know why the fueling has a delay in it. The 2016 MT-10 was too twitchy. With throttle by wire, you've got either two ways to go. You've got throttle's too twitchy or there's too much delay. You want to get that sweet spot in the middle. Very hard to do. I found BMW is already very good at it. You know, you can never beat just a cable throttle, but there's a lot of advantages to having a throttle by wire. That's why everyone's got it now for traction control, a lot of other different things. So you kind of need throttle by wire these days, but getting the fueling right is very difficult. There is different maps and stuff, but I kind of find all of them has got a little bit too much delay. Even A mode, I'm riding D mode right now because I'm about to commute home with my wife. And I usually just ride in the slowest mode possible so she doesn't fall off the back because this bike's so freaking fast. But right now, I think just kind of every map is just a little bit too delayed in its power. You kind of give it a lot of power and it's just like, that takes that half of a freaking second before it really just ignites and takes off. Cruise control works really well, but you can only use it in 4th gear and up. Old S1000RR, you could use it in any gear. A lot of people probably think, you know, why do you need cruise control if you're not like on the freeway in 6th gear? Well, this is still kind of nice. Like, you know, if you're sitting in traffic, you know, you're doing 20 k's an hour like this, sometimes it's nice to just put on cruise control and just putt in 2nd gear. But now I have to go into 4th gear, and I think it's like 40 k's an hour. No, 45 k's an hour is the slowest speed it'll allow cruise control. It's probably a safety thing. It's probably a good reason to why you shouldn't have cruise control at that kind of slower speed, but I liked S1000RR to be able to use that. I thought it was cool. This is the shit I commute in every day, stuck in freaking traffic. Such a fast, awesome bike to be stuck in traffic with. So freaking annoying. while I'm stuck in traffic, we'll just go over some last little things that I kind of wish, you know, Yamaha might have done on a bike, you know, of this price and stuff, and that what they're doing on other bikes really. Things like a electronic key, the wireless key, it's really nice now. You know, on the previous old Ducatis where I had the wireless key that didn't work so well, my multi-strata I had in America, shit, that freaking key never worked, man. I got stuck in San Francisco on the side of the road, like, what the hell is this guy doing? That is you're on the wrong side of the road, man. No fricks given. Yeah, I just got stuck in the middle of the road and the bike stopped because I thought the key was too far away and shit. But now it works really well. The Triumph one I had was just perfect. The wireless key worked every time, wicked. Loved it. Keep it in your jacket pocket. Like if you're commuting every day, just leave that shit in a pocket in your jacket. As soon as you walk your bike, turn it on, bam. You know, leave it, turn it off. Really nice little convenient thing. Heater grips would be nice, man. A lot of people don't like heater grips. I've had heater grips on my S1000RR. I think they're fantastic. How's it going, champ? It went up the wrong way. So heater grips, I think would be an awesome option for this bike. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the MT-10SP. They're the things I don't like about it. So there's quite a few things I don't like about it, but none of them are a showstopper for me so far. Out of the couple of months that I've had it, freaking loving it. But I will make a video telling you everything about this bike. I want to do a proper review. I want to actually ride it somewhere nice, somewhere on the weekend or something. This is just a crappy, more an informative video. If you are looking at buying MT-10SP or even an MT-10, a lot of the same things apply. Yeah, just let you know the things that I don't like about it. I'm pretty unbiased because I own this bike. I just spent $20,000+ on it. I think it's good to find out from the people who actually own it what they don't like about it. You know, I'm pretty unbiased because I don't keep bikes very often, so I don't get ultra attached. Unless it's maybe a WR250R, which is the best motorcycle in the entire world. Nothing else compares. CRF250L is gay. The WR250R is the best freaking bike in the world. Frick, I love my freaking WR. Oh my god.